All right, cool. So, well, I'll definitely, of course, go back and forth on the chat itself. I'll definitely, of course, will continue on the session. I already sent out the link out to the chat. So, um, let's get straight to it. So, basically, I've been looking at PTC all day, and I know we've been kind of been up training for the most part on it on just the higher time frames. I know since the overall market structure that we're having, we're still creating liquidity, but it looks like everything's kind of still pushing up to the upside. Just kind of really, negating that overall process that, we'll probably maybe even, come back down here. As we continue on progressing higher, then the possibility of us, even going lower decreases unless something happens with, I know there was talks about the tariffs, um, that Trump was talking about. And I know there was some crypto news related that popped up. I think it was yesterday or today, talking about this week was a big week for crypto. I haven't really looked into the reasoning behind it, but I know they did drafted a crypto bill, the U.S. Senate, I believe. But I know, like, as far as the overall structure, it looks pretty bullish. I know, like, just looking at all this, it definitely brings a lot of eyes to my attention. That's there's going to be a potential possibility that we may get this swept. So as of now, like, I haven't really, I don't really see any potential good setups. I just have a couple areas I'm just eyeing at the moment for some type of rejection. I know I've been kind of going back and forth, like, as far as total one and BTC, but for the most part, everything still looks pretty bullish unless we get a higher time frame breaker structure to the downside. I know this entire green candle here, was a huge bullish candle that basically liquidated like a lot of money inside the markets. All right, cool. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so it's just with everything going on. Just kind of waiting to see if we get any kind of clearer setups presenting itself. But as of now, I have not really seen anything. Um, if you guys even look back on the weekly, it really came back into, well, it react off of this huge institutional candle here, and it's been slowly climbing at that area for PTC. Since right now we're sitting at 95,500, 95,500 for PTC. I really want to see what happens as we start, really getting much more higher. Let's go on to total one. Let's kind of see what are some like similarities that I'm eyeing at the moment. Daily, weekly, cool. Because now, like, since we've been making new highs, so it's been basically just creating new highs on a daily, breaking these highs each time. And if I go down on smart time frames, probably the only area that I'm really looking on total one is possibly this zone here, since it was the previous buying count before we actually sold off. So now I am looking to see if we get any kind of pullbacks in here. So when it comes to like some of the alts, it does give some similarities as far as potential pullbacks. I know Solana looking strong more than ever. I know if you guys took those buys in December, towards the end of the December, calling out buys at 119. These were great setups. These were great setups, perfect setups that you guys took. I know this period. I think somebody said the chat was wanting to buy Solana here at 135, and it definitely did correlate with what I was thinking about. And that thing definitely just took off from there. So Ethereum, you got Ethereum. Yeah, this thing's been moving. There we go. So there's definitely came back to one of my zones on the 45 minute time frame on Ethereum. Now let's see if we can kind of give any kind of pullbacks on here. But for the most part, if this thing continue on pulling back lower, I'll definitely look at smart time frames to see if we can get any kind of reentries. But we still left behind some areas down here right off the 30-minute time frame, off of this candle here, which we didn't really quite get it. It kind of teased our zone for the most part. This was the candle that hasn't been fully mitigated just yet. There's a nice sweep of liquidity. From this, of course, candle brought down. Afterwards, huge volume of money being pushed in, creating that nice imbalance, and didn't really quite come back to that area. So these are just areas that I am going to be putting on the back end and see what we do. Can we get another push higher? Yes, into this area. I'm kind of curious what's happening with total 3. Putting back in here, Solana, cool. Yeah, so I'll definitely be going back and forth inside the chat and seeing what you guys are seeing in there. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know inside the chat box. I definitely will be going back and forth on that with you guys. Especially when it comes to total 3s, this entire thing is just sketch. I personally would want things to come back to this area, just because if this doesn't really get taken out, then I know that in the near future we will. Usually crypto doesn't really do things as you when you want it to, but it does it during like the right timing of the market as far as like major news. But recently, with all the major pullbacks, it's always been revolving around interest rates and tariffs. So those are like the most probable scenarios that could happen, that could possibly push us lower. Maybe give us like a pullback. But as of now, like everything looks bullish today, so we'll see. But I'm kind of already thinking on like worst case scenarios. If we do get pullbacks, I would definitely would want you guys to um, have that perspective that, oh, if we do come back, then these are kind of the possible scenarios. What could happen if we do come back with the mains and like the alts. Ethereum daily. Yeah, I mean, everything's still just pushing higher. Like we haven't really gotten like any clear break of structure to the downside. Uh, Even right now, I'm looking on a daily time frame. You can see that ETH really came into this nice inefficient area there, and just slowly just went out and just basically just filled it in and just left. That's what I'm always looking at on higher time frames, no matter what, because there's these uh, inefficient areas that are really, really good zones for potential buys or sells, depending on the setup. But for this instance, you can definitely see that it came back into daily and just reacted over here and took off. We still have this high. If Ethereum really starts getting more of a dominance, a higher dominance than BTC, then we probably can see that shift happening. Yeah, if we do get clear above this high here, then that should be your indication that ETH is really, really gaining more of a bigger weight in the market than BTC. So we'll see as we start progressing. But I really want to see what happens this month. Really want to see what happens with this month. I know today was a pretty green day for the most part on a lot of cryptos. Today just kind of really woke up, and like you definitely see some of the cryptos seeing was like up. I think I seen like ICP was up like 15% today. Other assets were up, 10%, 8%. So it was a pretty nice volume today with just alts just coming in. money is coming into alts and just rest of the crypto overall. So let's see here. Total 1, total 3. Go back to BTC. On the higher time frames. Oh shoot. Do that. On the higher time frames with BTC, the only thing that I'm really just eyeing is what are we gonna do in this specific monthly inefficient area. What are we gonna do in here? This is something that I'm kind of like really eyeing and seeing if we do kind of like, if we do get a pullback, then this probably will be the area that we will do that in. If you go down on the weekly, I believe, definitely go down, be smaller. This zone in here, that's kind of like what I'm want to see what happens in that area for BTC. You see, we're already kind of getting a small rejection already on the weekly time frame. So, yeah, that's why, especially inside the chats, I'm always, thinking on the worst case scenarios, because I don't want to just strictly just to one bias. Like, yes, I want cryptos all to pump, but I don't want that to cloud like, my overall setups or bias. If I see something that looks bearish, then I'm gonna have that, thought process behind it and seeing like, all right, cool. If we come in this area, if we do some kind of distribution, then we'll probably see some kind of a setup in there. But as of now, like it, since we got that nice green candle, previous green candle, then this is something that is interesting to see. But yeah, on the higher time frame, like I don't really see anything else on the daily or weekly that tells me that this can definitely, of course, give another pullback on the higher zone. But like once we start, reaching like above, nearing 100K, then there's not really much that I can show you guys that could be like the zone. Like, all right, cool. Like if this can definitely be like a major selling zone. But as of now, it just shows a lot of liquidity. Shows a lot of liquidity on these highs. Nothing that's gonna be like too strong of an area to which it'll tell you that, all right, cool, like this is the area that would want to see some major sells. But as of now, they just a lot of liquidity trend lines. They're just waiting just to get swept, which is a good sign. That's a good sign, especially when like we're still at below 100K. I do have a feeling that like once we reach above 100K, you start noticing a lot more people being more active on crypto. Like, oh shoot, like we're back over 100K, while we're a lot of people were panicking that we're like at 83, 84, the 80s, low sub 80s, and they were like deciding whether crypto was like, all right, cool, that's it, for crypto. But we still have so much room for it to grow. That's especially with alts. I mean, ETH hasn't even hit all-time highs yet. We haven't, so yeah. We'll see how everything really progresses within this year. I know there's still a lot of regulations, a lot of news, quick news, a lot of adoption that's still being that's currently occurring right now around the world. But on the charts, let's definitely see if we can catch any kind of setups long term. But definitely Solana was the strongest one out of everything. Total 1, total 3. Let me see, BTC dominance. Okay, this is really where things start getting interesting. Let's see if we get this low. This is what I really want to happen with the dominance for BTC. Like whether we kind of like still make it lower. Once we get this low, taken out, then this low is just like that. Well, but we'll see. Once this thing starts falling off a cliff, then yeah, you will definitely see alts really gain more volume, especially with like our fair alt and Ethereum. A lot of the exchanges, a lot of the fair cryptos, Chainlink, AVAX, your fair main ones or mid cap coins will definitely see a lot of love in these ones you're seeing dominant, just the BTC dominant just fall off a cliff. Uh, let me see with Chainlink. It's like we're slowly accumulating out of this area. I know we didn't really quite get that setup that I was really looking forward to. I mean, we could happen. Honestly, it could happen. Maybe that was the test. But I just don't. Yeah. I definitely would want to see the pullback take this lowest and just send it. That's just me. But we're still trading. Once we actually like break out of here, then we're just bullish. Like that's it. If we break out of here, if we pull back in this zone, then this spring can definitely be this scenario could happen for Chainlink. So I'm really waiting on these perpetual ideas for Chainlink. Go back to the comments. XRP, I got you, bro. I think I was looking at XRP. No, that's XLM. Let's see here. Where are we at? So with XRP, I was looking at this. Me personally, I was looking at this. That would be like the best possible scenario. I mean, we should have all the liquidity that needs to get taken out, like all of this highs. So like basically all of this here. Grab this here. All of this needs to get taken out. But once we do that, I definitely see XRP just giving us a huge green candle and just sending it. To be honest, basically just what happens, last time. That is just the personality of XRP. It will just slowly start dying out. No volume, no volume, no volume. Like just tanking, making new lows. Next, it just starts sending. While the rest of the market, it's barely catching up. So XRP is kind of doing his own thing, always, all the time. Definitely would want to see if we can get back above and just clear this weekly 4 hour. Yeah, I definitely would want to see that happening. I definitely want to see that for XRP. This could definitely be a leverage play. It just matter of if we do get any pullbacks, it's just like figuring out like how of an aggressive pullback it will cause alts, maybe XRP. So that's always a strong consideration and observation if we're looking up any buys on this alts. But XRP hasn't really given us any major pullbacks that I'm aware of. I mean, that follows with like BTC, Solana. So it just waiting. See, if we do get a pullback, then see what we're doing here. AVAX. Probably the same scenario. I would want to see AVAX come, in here and just take off from there. It's kind of like that reclamation schematic that I would want to see happen. Because we're really like knocking on the door on clearing out the liquidity here. Once we clear that liquidity there, this taken out, this gets taken out, and we're like already at back above $20. And then if that's the case, then we'll probably climb back above 23, 24, somewhere inside this area here. Yeah. This would be a pretty nice perpetual ideas. Chainlink, AVAX, and Litecoin will be great perpetual ideas. I know with Litecoin, it didn't really quite hold our area. It did a reject for an initial rejection. As you can see. Let's kind of really go back on what did happen and how we can improve. So basically give us a nice rejection out of their our entry first time, but then during the night, so you have like during like 4 a.m. during that time frame, market just started just tanking and just sold off, and yeah, this definitely make sure you guys are just reducing risk when this will be the scenario. That's something that I would do. Is if you see a nice rejection of our zone, just reduce risk if possible. And if it comes back, you probably even like just only lose the small amount rather than just hitting your stop loss. That's in that scenario would be better management, right? That would be much more better management in that case. For just reduce risk. If you could have went breaking even, or reduce risk on the previous low that it basically created in here. Like you could have reduced risk and put your stop loss below this low here. All right. So I mean, it did give it like a little small jump, but it wasn't enough for it to hold. And what does that mean for Litecoin? We should have all this here. All right, we should have all the liquidity here. That can definitely be a possibility that we probably see alts come back and clear that. See Litecoin come back and sweep this up. Can we come back in this little zone here, or we just flat out just make a new low? I mean, we're already there. We're basically almost already there with LTC. Do that. Yeah, we were basically already there with LTC. I would want that to happen as well if we just, clear this low here. Do something like this. Maybe this. Take this out here. Liquidity. There we go. That would probably be like a best scenario that I would definitely would love. But so now like nothing is too solid. I know a lot of the alts look exactly like this. We're kind of like just playing around this zone. Nothing's really going on. We're still playing that zone. There's not really much that can happen. I honestly thought this was the play, but Mark said otherwise, which is cool. Like we wait, look for the next setup, and execute then. So here, Pyth, ICP. So I was looking at leverage plays on ICP, and I don't know that on Radium. Radium does have it now. I think it's 5x. I think 5-10x leverage on ICP. That is great because I know a lot of spots don't really have ICP as far as perpetuals. But the reason why I like Jupiter so much is decentralized. That's the only reason why I like it. Is decentralized. When it comes to like centralized exchanges, they have it's not really reliable as far as liquidity wise. They can restrict your accounts, all that kind of stuff. So same thing with like having a decentralized wallet, not your key, not your keys, not your crypto kind kind of that phrase, but with perpetual trading, decentralized trading, it's just they can't really do that because it's decentralized. I know I did hear a lot of stories in the past where some of these exchanges would deny payout, so that would suck. But with other perpetual platforms, they're very very highly liquid, so that's the thing that you have a problem, especially when it comes to some uh, cryptos, because on central exchanges there's only a certain amount of liquidity per pair. Right? And I know, let's say if you're trading for XRP, and some exchange, don't really have that much liquidity in that specific pair, then they'll just deny your payout. I mean, that's if you get to that, a substantial amount on that pair. Let's say you're trading like a meme coin on a perpetual platform, and it just, let's say if you happen just to, buy the low, and that thing just, just gives us like a huge candle, green candle, and you definitely do pretty well on that trade, and depending on the liquidity, let's say if you got into it, that means, like, let's say for example, if like a lot of people got into it as well, then all that liquidity just kind of gets dries up, and the exchange can be like, oh, like they'll say, just send you a message, hey, the you can of course do a withdrawal, not enough liquidity for that pair, and you're out of luck. So that is a true story. I like 919, 910 area on BB for buys. Trader Joe's. Is that you, Austin? What's good, bro? I know it's kind of weird doing it on YouTube, but definitely seeing you guys' YouTube name. So for BNB, yeah, BNB just moves on his own. To be honest, BNB basically been moving on his own, and we kind of just continue on. You said 119, one was good. 119, 910. Oh, so you're looking at the smart time frames. Cool. So somewhere in that area. Looking for buys. 45, 30. Off of that candle there. Let me see here for our there's not really a strong point that I really like. Something that's not really just telling me, hey, like, this is the area that's great. 1 hour. I see this zone here. See that particular zone. Let's see here, because I see all this here. I see that. Where's this line? Delete that. Yeah, I'll definitely be careful, just in case. Looks like we're kind of really slowly approaching this monthly institutional candle here. So I'll see what happens in there. Weekly, daily, which, yeah, I do kind of see. I do kind of want to see a rejection inside here on Binance in this area, but we all seen how crypto just kind of just negate our areas, and just you see how all the volume just gets pushed to it, and it's everything just starts sending. So That could be a possibility, but right now I'm kind of just eyeing like just zones of like just this entire imbalance that needs to get filled in. Either it gets filled in, we reject, or it gets filled in and buy a huge green candle. Either or. So yeah, for BNB, it's kind of like a weird pair as of now because I know when it comes to this particular pair here, um, basically the CEO, like the people that are controlling the funds with the Binance coin, they definitely want to have their coin do good overall. So as far as manipulating it, yes, that is a very very true thing. Go back, Binance, Livian. There's a lot of pairs I haven't really looked into. Filecoin. I think we may have something here on Filecoin. Yes, so this is actually one of our previous setups that I was looking into. Do this, do all this out of the way. Because now like we're climbing out of these lows here, little by little. Probably see this. We do if we do kind of get any pullbacks, then probably do this. That's just me. That's kind of like the scenario of which everything will really just become more efficient. Let's see here. Cool. So, let's see here. I mean, Filecoin is sitting at $1.57. If this thing can really come back above these highs here, even in a portfolio standpoint, just 150% potentially, 150%. I don't want to say that it will. Of course, nothing in crypto is guaranteed, but it's just we've talked about this in the past of volume, right? Filecoin, LTC, Jupiter. Something I've been looking into Jupiter is what they're planning. I know the Jupiter ASR rewards will be this month. I don't know what day. I haven't seen when they'll release the actual airdrop itself. So it should be sometime this month. Maybe it could be next week. Who knows? But it is set for this month. I haven't seen like a time frame or date when it happened. But usually when it comes to these kind of airdrops, there's usually a pullback because of all that money is just being sucked out of the market. Then that's kind of something I've been seeing is during airdrops, everything just kind of just tanks. So that could definitely be a timing of which the rest of the market can pull back. So we'll see. We shall see for that. I'm still holding Jupiter. I still have it staked. I haven't unstaked it not once for whatever reason. So I like the products. I like the overall perpetual. I like what they're doing. I know they've been integrating a lot more stuff into it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, even though the price doesn't show that it looks appealing, but the overall products is insanely good. Insanely good. Pyth. I haven't even looked at Pyth to be honest. Hmm. I mean, I've been seeing there's a lot more tokens just slowly making our way out of here. But some of them look more appealing than others as far as structure and just where it's at. I know there's like this previous liquidation candle that happened in October. Yeah, a lot of them just looks very, very similar. But there's a lot of room for this thing can move. So right now it's sitting at 7 cents, and they're looking at zones upwards to 64 cents, and percentage there. All right, You can see that number in the middle. That could definitely be a possibility for Python. And since they definitely integrated as far as the macroeconomics data, I believe that's the correct wording. They just partnered up with the government. No, I think training does have to do something with that as well. Could be mistaken, but yeah, I mean, especially during that news, this thing definitely ran when that first news popped off, and you can definitely see. Look at Jupiter. You can see the current data, right? You see on this section here beneath the candlesticks, Python. So that can definitely show you guys more about it, just by just seeing that right there. Caspa, STX, XLM, partial. Oh, so this is really where things kind of get interesting with like real estate and crypto. So if you guys haven't or heard about Parcel, I think that's how you pronounce it. But uh, this is something that is as far as real estate being on chain and just reading the overall data and trading the real estate markets. There is a game changer, a huge game changer inside the space. You can definitely, of course, look at the websites. I think you might need a VPN, if I'm not mistaken, to use it. But this really is where um, basically onboarding or just what's what I'm looking for is adoption when it comes to real estate. Since there's not really a lot of money in parcel and there's a lot of money in real estate, this is definitely a growing market for sure. Sitting at shy below 3 cents, and the highs. This thing keeps on going and going. So let's say we even hypothetically come back into, oh shoot, not even there. Weekly, monthly, probably get something on the daily. Let's say hypothetically we get back into maybe even this zone up here. Right here. From 50 from like 51 cents to where's that now to 2 cents, 3 cents. Yeah. So from here to all the way up to a possibility, potential. So if you guys see the number in the middle, that is a possibility. So I want to show you guys possibilities, right? I don't want to like tell you, oh, this can happen. This is a guarantee. No, nothing's guaranteed inside of this space. So let me see even Chainlink. So since Chainlink's sitting at $14, if you come back above here, I think that's like a 90%. I think 80, not 100 yet. I think barely, almost. Let's say above current price. Let's say $28, a little over $28, and that'll be 100%. I mean, we were just there not so long ago, to be honest. Last year in August, April, November. So, let's see what you guys have inside the question box. Thoughts on H bar? I got you. So on H bar, I think it's very similar to Stellar and like the rest of the ISO 222 tokens. Do I even have it? Yes, I do have it. Yeah. I definitely do see all this get taken out. All this here. And let's see if we can catch any good plays out of this thing. Hmm. I do like this zone here. I do like this zone here. I'll put an alert right there. This could be a zone where I could probably do like a perpetual idea, to be honest. Yeah, I actually do like the zone. I like it a lot. Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you for giving us the plays. To be honest, um, yeah, I'll put my alert right there. Long position tool right here. And you part target right there. Nice little 1 to 8 setup. Weekly. Yeah, this thing can definitely run, to be honest. Either I can definitely be like the first area of TP and just maybe have a runner that can definitely just marking then do this. So I do like that setup a lot. So shout out to you for bringing it to my attention. Because we see here liquidity here, market came down, swept it, imbalance, took out this high here, and now we're kind of slowly in this area here. So if we do pull back, then I'm definitely taking this. I'm curious of what the max leverage is on radium. Sheesh. Yeah, pump soul. What's good, Damien? Um, bro, Damien, that's not a buy, man. Shoot. That was definitely a good setup. That was definitely a good setup. Cancel that. Look at H bar. Yeah, but H bar is still a good coin. Definitely been seeing a lot about that coin as far as adoption cases. But yeah, definitely and more adoption and institutional use cases for H bar. I'm looking at H bar. If we do have it, hopefully we do. Look at all. I'm hoping we do. If not, then I'm going to find a different platform to trade it on. If we do, yes. Nice. So it's a maximum 10x leverage, and that should give you guys a lot of room to play with as far as liquidation. But if you guys do plan on using this trade, then just use a calculator that I will send out again inside the chat as far as calculating your risks for this. So yeah, definitely use that. Go back on the daily. Yeah, this zone marked up. Hmm. Cool. Yeah, this thing can definitely run. Just by seeing this, look at that. If this thing really starts to break above this line, then that thing is gonna send real quick. But yeah, that's basically it on H bar. Uh, bro, if it goes to 11, I'm stacking more. Hey man, like we live and we learn. Like I definitely missed a lot of great plays. Trust me. We but executing this trade or that's really what grows you as a trader. Like, yes, let's say if you see the play and if you don't execute it, then you just beat yourself up. That's why you follow your trading plan, and if it doesn't play out, at least you work your plan. At least you work your trading plan. Because I know when it comes to trading altcoins, it's you're never gonna hate yourself for missing a play on perpetuals when markets just start going ballistic, right? So that's why for me, I've been looking a lot more heavily into a lot of alts, just so I can take them on perpetuals and just swing them. But that's why it's important just to execute. Always execute on your trades. Execute trades and collect data. But for most parts, that is what time is it? Facts. Got you. But that's basically it for me on today's session. Thank you guys for being on. And yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful night. And I'll see you guys on the next call on Thursday with me, with myself, and Fernando. Definitely will covering more topics on crypto. So definitely see you guys next time. And oh yeah, can't forget, we do have a convention next month, February 7th, I believe. It should be on a Saturday. But yeah, definitely make sure you guys grab your tickets. If not, then you will be missing out, because this is gonna be like the biggest that Powerhouse basically will be hosting, I believe. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of potential vendors, maybe even like the same ones as last time. But yeah, it's gonna be a full day's worth of learning, and be able to see you guys in person, and for you guys to even see your favorite educators on live. So with that being said, hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.